Hi, this is Ian with Satellite Oasis, and today I'm going to show you how to set your Directv receiver to work with different kinds of dishes that are offered with Directv. We sell satellite dish RV kits, and you can work different satellite dishes with different receivers that you own. Sometimes you may want to buy a standard definition dish for an HD receiver to get just standard definition programming with your HD receiver, because the standard definition dish is more portable and smaller. It's easier to point. Sometimes you may have a standard definition receiver that's on your high definition system, and knowing that you don't get high definition on that receiver, you may say, well, I want to take my standard definition receiver with me and just use a standard definition dish. So this is how to set up the satellite receiver that you own to work with different kinds of satellite dishes. So right now I have hooked up an HR24-500 satellite receiver. That's a dual tuner HD DVR for DirecTV. To find out what kind of satellite receiver you have, you can look on the underside of the receiver. There's usually a label there that will tell you the model. With DirecTV, there's only a few kinds. There's a standard definition receiver called a D12, a standard definition DVR, and an HD receiver called an H24. You could have an H20. And then you have the HR brand receivers, which are the DVRs. So D12, and then the standard definition DVR, and then you have HD receivers that have an H and then a number followed by that, and then you have HRs, which I believe stand for high definition and record. So with this receiver, I have the DirecTV remote, and I will hit menu, and from this screen, this is the main menu, you want to scroll down here to parental, faves, and setup. And in the DirecTV receivers, whether they be standard definition or high definition, they should all pretty much look like this. There may be some variation in language, but it's essentially in the main menu, and then a sub menu of the main menu is where you're going to access this information I'm about to show you. So under this, I'm going to go to System Setup, and then I'm going to go to Satellite. There. So I'm going to first, let's go ahead and view signal strength so that we can see what that's about. Okay, so here's the signal strength. Right now I have this connected to a HD or a Slimline HD satellite dish. So we'll go ahead and hit done, because we'll look at this here in a minute. So I'm going to go to repeat satellite setup. And this is how you change your dish setting. It's a little different here, and I'm going to show you how to do that, but just to start out, to kind of show you a few things, we'll go to repeat satellite setup. So it says you're about to repeat. This will take a few minutes, so basically it says hit dash to continue, so go ahead and hit dash. Okay, so here if you look, it says choose your satellite dish configuration settings. So you have dish type. The number on it is number 17 Slimline Dash 3S and SWN. Switch type SWN. Tuner type dual. Okay. So basically what that means is that I have it connected to a single wire multi-switch 3 LMB Slimline DirecTV dish. Okay. So right now that information is grayed out. Okay. The reason that's grayed out is because the SWM style satellite dishes are plug and play, and the receiver can detect when it's on an SWM system. So while it's on there, it's not going to let you change anything. Okay, so when you connect a new dish to that, you'll be able to access that information. So I'm going to do that here in a second. We're going to change the satellite dish outside, and I'm going to connect a Directv 18-inch round dish to this HR24 receiver. And what it's going to do is it's going to pull in all the channels available for that the 18-inch round dish can receive. So right now I'm going to hit continue, and it'll verify configuration, which it's already on there, so it really doesn't matter. So in this instance, I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel, and I'm going to go ahead and power this receiver down. Now I'm going to hook up the 18-inch round dish, and we'll come back to this in a second. So now you have your satellite dish installed outside. You've assembled it, and now you're going to turn on your Directv receiver. So I'm going to turn on that receiver now, and what'll happen is that it will power up, and it'll give you a screen that looks like this if you have a HD DVR. Other receivers are similar. So now we'll go ahead and let this power up. This will take a minute, and we may fast forward through this. Now this process took about 2 minutes. And when you look right here, it says there is a problem communicating with the satellite dish. 771A is the error code. What this means is that you had it connected at home to a different style dish than the one that you purchased from us. There's no problem with that. You just have to change the satellite receiver to let it know what kind of satellite dish you've now connected it to. So from this screen, you're going to hit the menu button on your remote, and then it's going to show you signal strength or repeat satellite setup. So I'm going to repeat the satellite setup. And it says you're about to repeat the satellite setup. It'll take a few minutes. Press dash to continue. So I'm going to hit dash at the bottom left hand side of the remote. Now, here, if you see, before when I had it hooked up to the Slimline 3S dish, I could not access that spot right there with my remote. It was grayed out. The reason why is because the satellite receiver could detect that it was connected to that dish, and it would not let me change it to anything else because it knew that was the dish that I had it connected to. But now it's no longer can find that connection, which is why you have the error code. So now it gives you the ability to change that dish setting. So because I have it connected to an 18-inch round dish, I would go into this menu and change that to 01 round 18-inch. Now the dish that we include is a DirecTV branded product. For the dish I'm referring to is the DTV 18S kit that we include in our kit. That dish, sometimes people say, well, it's not round, it's a little egg-shaped. Well, DirecTV considers that to be a round dish. Okay, so it is round. A different style of dish that we would sell would be the DTV 3S kit. It's the 3 LMB standard definition satellite dish, and that's for people in certain markets to receive their local channels that they subscribe to. Most of the time, you're going to be, if you have standard definition, you're going to want to go with the 18-inch round. Sometimes you may want to go with the 3 LMB. And we have that information available on our product page for this product. And then the other two would be 03 Slimline 3, which means Slimline DirecTV dish with 3 LMBs. The 3 LMB style, it actually, when you look at the LMB itself, it's egg-shaped, and it looks like it just has one lens, but in that lens there's 3 LMBs, so that's why they refer to it as a 3. And then our KAKU-S kit, which is our DTV KAKU-S kit, which is our Directv high definition RVer kit. It includes a Slimline 5 LMB. And it has 5 LMBs on it. It has the normal Directv HD style like the Slimline 3, and then it has 2 additional ones for 110 and 119, which are for receiving local channels in certain markets. And it is not swim style. Okay, we don't include swim with our kits as of right now, because when you're RVing, you might bring one receiver. You don't bring more than one. Maybe you'll bring 2. But the swim style system, it requires more components to operate, and you can't use the satellite finder that we include with our kit with a swim style system, because swim is more advanced. Professional installers a lot of times have to have a $400 meter to point the satellite dish with that style of LMB. So in an RVing case, Slimline 5 is the one that we normally include with our DTV KAKU-S kit. So these are the 4 selections that you're going to be concerned with normally. These are the 4 you're going to change it to normally based on what style of dish that you bought from us. Now, you may have already had it set by default to number 17 or 18, the Slimline 3S swim or the Slimline 5S swim, okay? But that isn't what you're going to have it set to now. So now, because I have it connected to an 18-inch round dish, and again I have it connected to the HR24-500, but I can still use the round dish with it and receive standard definition programming off Satellite 101. So I'm going to select round. Switch type, it's set to SWM, but SWM, when it's set to that, the receiver won't supply voltage down the line to power up the satellite finder. So if you've connected the finder and you turn the knob up and you notice there's no power, it's because you need to change the switch type to multi-switch, which will supply 18 or 13 volts down the line. The receiver will supply that voltage down to operate the satellite finder. Dual tuner type. Tuner type is dual for this receiver because it is a dual tuner, but because I've only ran one line from the receiver to the dish, I want it to be a single. Now I could make it run a dual tuner still, I just have to run 2 lines off of the back of the receiver into the LNB. There's connections for 2 on the back of the receiver. If you had it connected to a swim style type satellite dish, you only had one connected, but with this style of dish you have to run 2 if you want to have both tuners function. So I'm going to set it at single tuner with that. But again, you could run a second line if you'd like to. So now that I've set our dish type to 01 round 18-inch, which would correspond to the DTV 18S kit, switch type multi-switch, tuners single, to get my coordinates, to know how to set my satellite dish look angles, I'm going to go to dish pointing. And here you can punch in your zip code. So our zip code here at the warehouse is 46239. Okay. So if you look at the top right hand side, it says dish round, and then it says ASM, which means azimuth. That's 206. So that's 206 degrees. If you're facing south, you look at your compass and you'll see that south is 180 degrees. So on your compass here, I would look at 206, and then that would be the general direction that I would point my satellite dish to. Elevation, I would set it to 42, and then tilt, there is no setting for that dish. If you had a DTV3S kit or an HD Slimline dish, it would give you a tilt setting, and then that's where you would set that on the back plate of the dish. So from this point, I wouldn't want to look at my signal strength. It's a good idea to do that when you're pointing the dish, to set it to signal strength so that you can kind of see what you're doing there in real time. So right now it's going to go through and show you what my signal quality is, because I've already pointed the satellite dish out there. So now I've got a usable signal. At home you may want to get 95 all the time, but when you're RVing 70, 80, that's good. Unless it rains terribly, it's going to work just fine. So I'll go to signal meters. Okay, so now on this screen, you'll see it says tuner 1 has 89% signal quality. Now, because again, I've only hooked up one coaxial cable to this dual tuner receiver, it is only going to show me signal on 1. So if I ever were to connect a second cable, I would get signal on tuner 2. I've already disabled that in the settings that I showed you a second ago. So if you don't have a dual tuner, it's only going to show 1 bar there. And if you're not getting a signal at all, and you want to use this screen to help you work in tandem with your satellite finder, I suggest doing that. The key to pointing a satellite dish is you just want to make sure that your satellite dish tripod is level, and then you set your settings based on those coordinates that were just given on the previous screen. And when you do that, it's all just a matter of fine-tuning that signal in. You should get it because it's all mathematics. That satellite is in a specific spot in the sky, and when you aim that satellite dish to that specific spot based on your coordinates, you're going to get a signal. So I'm going to go ahead and hit done and get back to this screen again. So now I'm happy with my signal. So what I'm going to do is hit continue now, and what it's going to do is it's going to verify configuration. So this will take a second, and it'll figure out that it's connected. Okay, so this screen, it says 101. I have odd, which I have check mark there, which means I'm getting my 13 volt signal, and I'm getting my 18 volt signal, which means that it's able to transition between even and odd transponders. So I'm going to get all the channels on satellite 101. So it says no signal available on tuner 2, which is to be expected, and I'm going to go ahead and hit continue, and it says you have completed the dish setup. So now what it'll do is, now that it says okay, you're only connected to satellite 101, so I'm going to download the program guide data for that satellite only. So what it's going to do is it's going to update your program guide and remove the channels that you used to receive on your dish at home, and it's only going to show you the channels that you get, because you don't want to be flipping through your guide and you've got all these channels that you're not receiving. You only want to be seeing the channels that you know that you can get. So now it'll download this information. Okay, so now this is complete. That process may take a couple minutes, but now that the hard part's over, that wait shouldn't feel so bad. So we hit continue, and now it's going to run more tests to verify installation. So I would suggest that when you're doing this part of it, you go get yourself something to drink and do that. So now it says that it's going to be rebooted. So that will happen sometimes, it may not happen sometimes, but now it's connected. So what's good about that now is that you've got everything connected, everything's going to work. Now when you take it home and you want to connect it back up to your home service, you're going to go back into that screen for the setup. But it'll automatically detect your swim system if you have it set on swim system. And if you don't have a swim system in your home, then you're going to have to change a couple settings. I recommend that you go into a satellite receiver that you still have in your home and see what the settings are and just change them back. And if you have any more issues with it, you can also call Directv, and they'll give you technical support. They'll help you out somewhat. But this is the most challenging part of this installation, which isn't really a challenge, it's just not having the knowledge. And now with you having the knowledge, you should be just fine, and it's going to work for you. So now that you have this information, you're gonna find this installation to be a lot easier. Okay, so you would switch between these two dish configuration settings, the one at your house and the one when you're RVing. If you go from place to place when you're RVing, the satellite receiver will remember the previous settings, so you won't really have to go through and change anything again. I would always recommend going into that signal strength screen to be able to look and make sure that you're hitting the right satellite. It's not necessary. Once you get the hang of it, you may not need to do that anymore. When I pointed this dish, I didn't look on that screen while I was pointing it, but it is kind of handy if you want to kind of speed things up a little bit until you really get the hang of things. So on this, I have it connected to Satellite 101. You're going to get a lot of standard definition channels, and it's going to work just fine for you. Picture quality, of course, it's not HD, but it's simple. The dish is easy and it's small. If you have HD and you want HD, you're going to need to go with the Directv KUS kit, but you have many options there. The HR style receivers and the H receivers, when you have an HD signal, you may need a B-band converter for that. The receiver will tell you that. Do I need a B-band converter? What is a B-band converter? A B-band converter is for up converting the Ka band signal when you have it connected to a satellite dish other than SWIM. Okay, with a SWIM system, it'll automatically do that. So how do you know if you need one? Well, first, if you have a high definition dish that you bought from us with an RV kit, you more than likely are going to need one. With DirecTV, you can order them for free. They'll give you one on their website. We have links to the details on our product page about that. We also sell the product on our website too. The device, the way to check is you go into menu and you hit system setup and satellite, and then repeat satellite setup. So in this menu, if you see down at the bottom, it says do not install B-band converter. That means because you don't need one. Okay, so if I go to Slimline 3, which is the HD dish, either that one or Slimline 5, so I go to this one, it says B-band converter required. So that's when you know you'll need one. It'll help you pick up one of the HD satellites. You'll get some channels without the B-band converter, so don't worry. You'll still get some HD channels. You just won't get all of them. So again, Slimline 5, B-band converter required. Now I'm going to go to the SWIM system up here, Slimline 3S, and it'll say, oh, please wait. So it looks for it, and it doesn't find it, but it does say do not install B-band converter. The same would go for the Slimline 5S SWIM. So that is how, one way you can find out is to go into the satellite dish setup, and it'll tell you right on this screen. Basically, unless you have an H23 receiver, you need a B-band converter if you're going to install an HD Slimline dish that's not SWIM. It's about a $10 device, give or take. You can find them in many different places. Again, we sell them, and you can also get it from DirecTV for free if you're willing to wait a little while to have that. So that is just one workaround you have to do with that, but in the end, we believe that you'll be a lot more satisfied with the non-SWIM style system when you're RVing, because all you need is to run a cable to the receiver and point from the dish to the receiver and point the dish. Whereas with the SWIM system, you would need a power inserter. You really wouldn't be able to point the dish with the satellite finder, and that makes it a little bit more complicated. Plus the SWIM equipment's more expensive because it's more high-end product. Not really necessary for RVing, but we do have it available. So it's the customer is always right, but by default that's why we don't sell SWIM, because it's a cheaper solution that gets you what you want at less money and is a little easier to do. So that is how you know if you need a B-band converter or not. Again, with any standard definition type system, you don't need a B-band converter. So